Halo 3 was one of the definitive online experiences of the last generation of consoles. Released in 2007, many players can recall the number of nights spent with friends fragging each other, laughing, and getting unfortunately cussed out on Xbox Live until the sun came up. Fans cheered when Microsoft announced that they were going to release a free-to-play FPS based on the Halo 3 multiplayer suite for PC, only to be crushed with disappointment with the revelation that the game would be region-locked to Russia. Thanks to intrepid modders who have been working over the past 8 months to get the game as close to as functional as possible without microtransactions, and the fact that Microsoft has since shut down this version of the game, I feel like it might be the right time to take a look at the one Halo title that was never intended for an English release. Considering that Halo Online is based upon Bungie's original Halo 3 code, but ported to modern 64-bit architecture, the game runs incredibly well, even on lower-end machines. I was able to get a solid 60 FPS at all times, with only some minor slowdown due to connection problems between the host and myself. I can't remember Halo 3 ever looking this good, and that's probably because with the bump up to 1080p and a constant frame rate that the Xbox 360 rarely managed to achieve, Bungie's art design shines through bright as ever, even 9 years later. In terms of available maps, players who spend a lot of time with Halo 3 will find a number of their favorite maps ported to Halo Online. Unfortunately, not every map made it into the Russian release, so players will have to contend with longtime favorites like Valhalla, The Pit, Narrows, Standoff, Last Resort, and Guardian. New maps and remakes of older maps from previous versions of Halo include Reactor, Edge, and Diamondback. Sure, the selection of maps is quite small, especially when compared to the amount of maps available in the final version of Halo 3, but with 10 maps, there is a ton of content if you're looking to recreate a fun gaming night from 2007. Gameplay in Halo Online plays very similar to Halo 3, with some minor modifications to bring the game into the modern era. By default, all players begin with the ability to sprint. However, for Halo purists, this is something that can be disabled by the host. With sprint turned on, the already frantic gameplay, especially on smaller maps like Guardian, can feel even more fast-paced and can lead you to swearing out loud or celebrating an absolutely epic multi-kill that might happen faster than your brain can process. Dual wielding is also not possible in the modded version of Halo Online, even though some of the maps, like The Pit, have previously dual wieldable weapons, like SMGs, still on the map. It is definitely recommended that if you're interested in playing this game, to do so during peak time. This past Saturday, there were about 200 players online across 6 to 12 servers that were full or near full. The limited amount of full servers and small player base can mean that if you're looking to play a certain game type on a particular map, you might be out of luck. Also, the current version of the game does not support any kind of friends list or private messaging, so any community building that may happen is restricted to outside channels. With Microsoft discontinuing Halo Online in Russia this past December, and no solid plans to revive the game, this leaked version stands as the only playable record that Halo 3's multiplayer came to PC, even if briefly. The only other way to get a comparable multiplayer experience would be to boot up Halo 3 on your aging 360 and pay Microsoft for an Xbox Live account. So here's hoping the community can keep Halo online even when the current peak of outside interest subsides.
lag